In the bustling city of Varana, where the skyline was dominated by gleaming skyscrapers and the streets were filled with the constant hum of life, lived a man named Raghav. He was a mid-level executive in a corporate firm, living a life that seemed ideal on the surface.
With a well-paying job, a luxurious apartment, and a fast car, I had everything a man of my age could wish for.
However, amidst all this material success, Raghav felt a void growing inside him, a constant unease, as though something vital was missing from his life. Raghav often found himself stressed and overwhelmed by the demands of his job.
My days were spent in meetings, chasing deadlines, and navigating the politics of office life, while my nights were restless, filled with thoughts of what lay ahead.
Despite his achievements, he felt trapped in a cycle of never-ending pursuits. No matter how much he earned or how many accolades he received, the satisfaction was always fleeting. It was as if he was forever running, but never arriving. One evening, after a particularly draining day, Raghav found himself wandering aimlessly down a quiet street, far from his usual route home. His feet led him to an old, unassuming temple nestled between two tall buildings. The temple, though small, exuded a sense of peace.
The soft sound of a prayer bell echoed in the air, and the faint scent of incense drifted out from within. I felt an inexplicable pull toward the place, as if it were calling out to me.
Curiosity led Raghav inside, where he saw an elderly monk seated cross-legged on the floor, his eyes closed in meditation. The monk had a serene expression on his face, one that Raghav had not seen in anyone for a long time. Intrigued and seeking some respite from his inner turmoil, Raghav sat down nearby, hoping to find some comfort in the temple's calm atmosphere.
You seem troubled, my son. What brings you here?
I don't know, Baba. I feel lost. I have everything I need in life, but I'm not happy. It feels like I'm constantly searching for something, but I don't even know what that is.
The monk nodded knowingly, as if he had heard similar words countless times before.
You are not alone in this struggle. The city is full of people who are endlessly chasing after what they believe will bring them joy, only to find that the joy slips away like sand through their fingers. But what you seek cannot be found in the material world, nor in the achievements you pursue. It lies within you.
What do you mean?
The monk gestured for him to sit closer and began to share a story. Once upon a time, in a village far from the bustling cities, there lived a young potter named Arun. He was known for creating beautiful clay pots, each one unique and crafted with meticulous care.
Arun had a deep passion for his craft and believed that his happiness lay in perfecting his art. However, despite his best efforts, he could never create the pot he dreamed of, the one that would be flawless, that would bring him a sense of completion.
Frustrated and disheartened by his repeated failures, Arun decided to seek out a wise monk who lived in a nearby forest. He had heard that the monk possessed great wisdom and insight into the nature of life.
Upon finding the monk, Arun explained his plight and asked for guidance. The monk listened patiently and then asked Arun to follow him. They walked together to a quiet pond nearby.
The monk handed Arun a small stone and said, "Throw this stone into the water."
Arun did as instructed, and the stone created ripples that spread across the surface of the pond.
Now look at the reflection of the moon in the water, the monk said. What do you see?
Arun peered into the pond and saw the moon's reflection distorted by the ripples. "I see a broken and scattered image," he replied.
The monk then said, "Wait for a moment."
As they stood in silence, the ripples slowly faded, and the water became still once more. The moon's reflection returned to its clear, unbroken form.
The monk turned to Arun and said, "Your mind is like the water. When it is disturbed, you cannot see clearly, and everything appears fragmented. But when it is still, clarity returns, and you can perceive the true nature of things. The perfection you seek in your pots cannot be found by chasing after it. It is only when your mind is at peace that true mastery can emerge."
Arun was enlightened by the monk's words and realized that his constant striving was not the path to fulfillment. He learned to quiet his mind, and in doing so, his art flourished. He stopped seeking perfection in his work and instead found joy in the process. The pots he made thereafter carried a unique beauty, not because they were flawless, but because they were created with a calm and joyful heart. Raghav left the temple that day with a newfound sense of hope. He decided to take the monk's advice and began incorporating moments of silence into his daily routine. It was challenging at first. His mind would wander, and he would often get caught up in his thoughts. But with persistence, he began to experience brief moments of clarity and peace. Months passed, and as Raghav continued his practice, he found that his approach to life was changing. The things that once stressed him no longer seemed as overwhelming. He became more mindful in his work, focusing on the task at hand rather than worrying about the outcomes. He started to notice the simple joys around him, the warmth of the sun on his face, the sound of birds chirping, the laughter of children playing in the park. One day, Raghav returned to the temple to visit the monk. This time, he came not with a heavy heart, but with a sense of gratitude.
Baba, I have followed your advice, and I feel a change within me. The peace that I was looking for is slowly finding its way into my life.
The monk nodded with satisfaction.
You see, my son, when you cultivate a calm mind, you open the door to a deeper understanding of life. But remember, this is only the beginning. True mindfulness is not just about finding peace for yourself. It is about how you share that peace with others.
How can I share peace?
The monk explained.
When your mind is still, you begin to see the suffering of others more clearly. The people around you are also caught in the same cycle of desires and fears. By being mindful in your interactions and offering kindness, you can help ease their burdens. When you work, do it not just for yourself, but with the intention to benefit others. In this way, your life will become a path of compassion.
As time went on, Raghav integrated this philosophy into his daily life. At the office, he noticed that his colleagues, too, were often stressed and struggling to meet expectations. Instead of competing with them, he began to help those who were falling behind, sharing his knowledge and lending a hand whenever he could. His actions did not go unnoticed, and soon his team began to work together more harmoniously. The workplace, once filled with tension, started to transform into a space of mutual support and cooperation. Outside of work, Raghav became more involved in his community. He volunteered at local shelters, helped organize meditation sessions, and even supported environmental initiatives to make the city a cleaner, more livable place. The more he served others, the more he found his own happiness growing. It was as if the emptiness he once felt had been replaced by a sense of purpose. One day, while conducting a meditation session at a park, a young man approached him. The man was disheveled, with a weary look in his eyes, one that Raghav recognized from his own past.
Sir, I've heard about your sessions. I'm struggling with my life. I've lost my job, and nothing seems to be working out for me. I'm always anxious, and I don't know how to move forward.
Raghav listened with compassion. He told the young man the story of Arun and the monk, just as it had been told to him.